An alarming number of fires are ravaging much of California. Many have had to evacuate. If you're in the West and have room to spare, contact Bridget O'Connor, our Kingdom Emergency Response Spreadsheet-Wielding Coordination Officer. You can find her at facebook.com/WestKingdom. Leave a note there and she'll be sure to get with you and get your information. And thank you for all the help that you can give.
Hello and welcome to Between Two Peers, a live stream show where the hosts invite a guest from around the known world to answer your pressing questions about life, the universe, and everything. This week is sponsored by The Perfect Drink, a dark and stormy, a delightful drink that says trouble and sandy beaches, all in one sip. I'm one half of your original Broadway recording cast, Tulia Alori. I'm a Laurel from the West Kingdom, and I'm just here to say I am pretty happy that my air conditioning got fixed a couple of days ago, so I no longer want to just die of heat stroke, and you're going to see a much perkier Tulia tonight. So with that out of the way, I'm going to pass this over to my other lovely co-host, Helga.
I'm Sir Danger Muppet, or Sir Helga. I'm from the West Kingdom. I'm a knight, a pelican. I almost said a laurel. I'm not a laurel. That's I don't need to curse myself like that because I would like to be one day. So boasting that I am before that's just this show's gonna be rambly, just so y'all know. So I am absolutely delighted that my co-host now has air conditioning. That has been the highlight of my week, and I'm super glad to be here with all of you, doing another show with our lovely guest, Madame Ghislaine. Who is an amazing human being outside of I am stuttering so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh. Ghislaine's awesome. Make some noise. Ghislaine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Madame Ghislaine d'Auxerre. I am a Laurel and a Pelican within the Kingdom of the West. Originally from Caid, moved up here in 2002. And I am just delighted to be here and chat with everybody. So bring it.
With that, I'm going to remind you all of the drinking game, and then we're going to go straight to the questions. So, when a host or guest uses a non-SCA name when referring to another member of the show. When Tulia mentions Duke Thorfinn, her boyfriend. When someone says, before I was a peer, in my kingdom, or when I last reigned. That's really the one that screws me. When somebody calls for a soapbox, and when somebody mentions spite sprinkles. And with that, Sassy, would you like to roll into the first question?
I sure would, and it looks as though my stream is a little jerky right now. I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. We will figure that out in a bit, because what we're doing now is we're going to get started with questions. And the first question is
downloading porn.
It's yeah, actually, Carius just said that I'm downloading porn, and that's why it's happening.
No, Thorfinn's downloading porn.
Oh, sorry, I'm not the one downloading porn. Someone else in this house is downloading porn. But regardless, we're going to get going with this. I am going to start with a question specifically for you, Ghislaine. This is from Luxia. Okay. What sparked your interest in divination? How would you recommend someone interested in the study of divination get started?
Well, what sparked my interest in divination specifically goes back years. But it's a matter of trying to dispel myths, because for the longest time we were hearing things like divination is witchcraft, divination is black magic, divination is evil, and none of it really jived with me. So a lot of my initial research was to start disproving myths. And then I just went down rabbit holes. I found a whole rabbit kingdom under there. And To me, it's about bringing up that little bit more of knowledge that adds that much more to everyone else's study, because divination affects political studies, affects cooking studies, affects scribal studies, affects basket weaving. I don't know, but it's so integrated because it was so integrated in society, and I have yet to find a stopping point or a pausing point. There's always something more that keeps interesting me, and then I find more things to dispel more myths. Now, as far as letting someone, helping someone get started, a beginner, I kind of, Google is your friend to an extent. Start finding jumping off points. Start finding actual JSTOR, academia.edu. Some of these websites that list medieval divination that's not attached to a religion. I have a blog, and it's called prognosticatingcow.wordpress.com. And the reason behind Prognosticating Cow is because there is a comic by Robert Aspirin and Phil Folio, and it shows the bazaar at Diva from the stories of the Myth Adventures. And in there, one of the comics, it has this storefront, and it's showing prognosticating cows, where you too can scry over spilt milk. Yeah.
I was going to just interject. For anyone who doesn't know, Robert Aspirin is actually an old-timer SCA person, and his Myth Inc. series was very seminal in my teenage life after joining the SCA.
Same.
Yeah.
But on my blog page, Prognosticating Cow at WordPress, I have books for beginners. I have glossaries. I have articles that will get you started in certain directions. I have a video of me doing Ouija chicken. That's a story for another time. So, but that's also a great place to go as well. And I'm always available for questions. Email me through my WordPress blog or email me on Facebook. I'm good.
Awesome. So neither Helga or I can really answer that question other than to say that, at least for my part, I think divination is pretty rad. And it's really cool that the West Kingdom has a divination laurel. So, I don't know, other kingdoms.
Well, actually, I used to say that I was the first and one and only historical divination laurel, and that's kind of true. There's actually a soothsayer laurel. There's a few of them in the East Kingdom where they have a soothsayers guild. So they are soothsayer laurels. I still will say I'm the historical divination laurel.
I think that's fair. I'm saying that's fair.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, the next question comes from Rebecca. How would someone who isn't interested in combat overcome the perpetual noob effect? That is, what are non-combatant things newcomers can get into the SCA?
So want me to answer that first, or?
Yep, you're first on all of them. It's always our honored guest gets to go first.
Oh, okay. Okay, so say that one more time.
How would someone who isn't interested in combat overcome the perpetual noob effect? That is, what are some non-combat things a newcomer can get into the SCA?
One of the things I love when I've hit events, especially early on, was looking at competitions. And there's a dance competition at most any kingdom event. Principality events, they tend to have their dance as well, the Saltatorius Nebularum, the Pied d'Argent. I'm not sure if Sinagua has one, unfortunately. I'm not aware. There are competitions in cooking. There's competitions in embroidery. There's competitions or there's guild meetings. Things that you just kind of can walk in and listen and maybe ask questions. And if it's not your thing, okay, thank them and go ahead about your day. I think those are great ways to sort of get a taste, and then you get introductions, especially with the dancing competitions. Is you start meeting people right off the bat, and they teach you everything before they actually do the contest. So if you want to learn but not do the contest, yay, do that. And a lot of the Kingdom ones, if they're still doing them, you have the Hospitality Inn. I forget what it's called. It's not.
You're talking about the public house.
The public house. Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
I don't even know if that's still happening. But yeah.
No, but typically you'll find a chatelaine, or you'll find someone like me who was. I was vaccinated with a phonograph needle. I just cannot stop talking some days, and I am very much an extrovert. So I will happily point you in directions and talk your ear off. I've been doing this 30 plus years, and I have not stopped having my enthusiasm for this game. So I can point you to places and look and help you out with that. And sometimes it's a matter of finding that person as well, finding the chatelaine, finding I'd avoid heralds and lists. They're usually a bit busy. But again, finding the guilds, finding a barony or the head of the person of your area. Like, okay, maybe I'm from Champclair, so I'll find the Champclair group, or I'll find Sinagua, or I'm from wherever, San Francisco. Okay, I'll find Clundar, I'll find the Mists. There's a lot of people that will help you get involved in certain things. To me, it's just throwing yourself into it.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much my my suggestion is that while a lot of the SCA is fighting centric, not all of it is fighting centric. And if you're just going to walk the perimeter of in the West Kingdom, the Eric, what we call the Eric, because you can try to force us to call it the list field, it will never happen. It's just too ingrained in our DNA at this point. But if you walk the perimeter of the list field, there are normally pavilions and sunshades that are set up all the way around, and it can take a lot of nerve to screw up the guts to go into a strange pavilion where a bunch of people are sitting around. But a lot of those places are actually holding guild meetings or salons where you're talking about like arts or various other topics about that pertain to like various parts of the SCA. And it's really one of these things that it is, we're all kind of introverts in a lot of ways, and like screwing up the nerve to go in and like just jump into a group of like 20 people who are all like, who are you, new person, takes a lot of nerve, but it is the fastest way to getting past the quote unquote noob feeling, I feel like. And this is somebody who I was kind of a noob for at least like the first decade of my SCA career, because I was too nervous to approach and too nervous to engage. And then kind of once I got my little foot in the door in one area, and it sort of just opened up an entire, leveled up. It basically like kept leveling up. So I met more and more people, and I became less and less kind of just, random new person on the edges. And people started to recognize me. People started to become, like, oh, hey, Tulia's here. And that was kind of, I probably could have figured that out a lot sooner. But yeah, it's definitely, it's there for you, there for the taking. You just got to like kind of suss it out. And again, find somebody, now that we're online, a lot of this stuff is happening online now, more and more. And so they're becoming easier to find, like the niches like dance or music or, whatever the little niche interest is that you have. There's probably an online group dedicated to that on Facebook, and you can probably find it just by asking on your Kingdom Facebook group, hey, anybody here interested in brewing? Where would I go to meet other people who are interested in brewing? And suddenly you're going to have like everybody like, oh my God, I love brewing. And oh my God, here, join this group. They're really helpful and all that stuff. So it's a lot easier now online. And now that we can only interact online, it's just going to become kind of the playground for the introverted. So hopefully when we get to come back in real life, again, a lot of that like shyness is going to go away. Helga.
Remember to unmute myself. So one of the things things that non-combatants can do, especially as newcomers, is actually introduce yourself as like, hey, I'm new, I'm learning things, and people will introduce you even if they're busy. Like, people will introduce you to other folks around, and so I can't point out like a specific thing like, oh my god, the Weavers are this, because most of the SCA, we're a giant pile of geeks that want to geek out about what is our geek. Like, to just use geek 3 times in a sentence, there is, we want to share our knowledge. And so one of the things also is a lot of people in the SCA understand that if they don't get somebody hooked up with a person that they can share their knowledge, that we lose our newcomers. And so, like, even if I'm on the sidelines in armor and I have somebody new come up to me and be like, oh my god, I'm so new, and I'm getting called to the list field, I'll still be like, I'm really sorry, I'm getting called to the list field. However, so-and-so right there can probably help you out finding somebody that can help you, like, get established or meet the people or anything else like that. And the same thing, I'm just gonna go with what Tulia said, is that online right now, if you post in any of the main forums, so like excuse me as I burp, West Kingdom, any of the principalities, or any of your local areas, once you get onto Facebook and you're like, hi SCA, I'm new, I'm not a fighter, but I have X, Y, and Z interests, you will get dogpiled with information. Like, dogpiled with information. And suss out and figure out the people you want to interact with and go from there. Right now is the heyday for the arts. I'll tell you right now, like, fighters, we're at home, angry, we can't hit our friends with sticks. Versus a lot of our artisans, like, this is a huge heyday in a way for us to recruit more of the arts, even within our own community. Because we're all stuck in small boxes. Time to do arts and sciences. Make that beer and paint those shields. So, I hope that helps.
And I mean, if you find me at an event, I seriously will, for lack of a better term, I will be your emotional support extrovert. I will happily walk in and I will introduce you to people, and I will protect you from like too much energy. So, but I'm only 5'2", so if you're taller than me, I'm going to go around your waist. So, you know.
She's a good hugger.
Yeah, I was about to say, she is a weaponized extrovert.
Yep. Yep.
Woohoo! All right. My new title. Next. I like it.
Oh, have you not heard me go off about weaponized extroverts on the show?
No, I like it.
Weaponized extroverts are like what every introvert needs at any point in time within the SCA, and we have a lot of them. Where you find an extrovert that like will geek out with you and just kind of drag you along as like you're being an introvert. And you're like, I'm not sure about meeting these people, but your weaponized extrovert is also a weapon for you in mass destruction and against you in mass meeting new people. Where you're just like, all of a sudden, oh, I'm an introvert and there's a bunch of new people and maybe I like this, but fuck, I'm just following this person and they're making me do this. Okay, cool, thank you. Now I have connections. So yeah.
Yes, I'll have you as a little bunny and I will protect you.
I love you, you are mine, little introvert. Meet new people, now you're safe. Meet new people, now you're safe.
Yes.
I like how Tulia is like, Art, no.
I don't know, you guys. I like people at all times. So thank God people like you exist, because Jesus. This would just be me. I'm just hiding in my basement for the rest of eternity, which has actually been a significant portion of my life. All right, so let's go to the next question. This is from Angus. How do you deal with people who are egotistical about their skill set in a way that insults or minimizes other people in their field?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think most of us have run across that one. Fortunately, well, early on, I took it at face value and I took it to heart. So I got my feelers hurt pretty bad early on. And I took everything so personally. And after a while, it's a matter of, you know what? If you feel that you are the end-all, be-all knowledge in your own little universe of whatever your art form is, more power to you. And maybe I'll be interested one of these days. But right now, I've got you and several other individuals that I can talk to. And the more I talk to them and the more I listen to them, the more I realize that they have information you don't. And you have information they don't. So I get to put you all on the same little level field here. But I've learned to just kind of nod and go, okay, whether or not I agree or disagree, and sometimes it's a matter of finding, is this to quote Mistress Aldith, is this a hill I want to die on? It's one of those things. I mean, when it comes to mine, I've had people go, but I know this, and I know this about divination, I know this about charms, I know this about all of witchcraft. I'm going, okay, I will be the first to say, I don't know everything about anything. I may be a Laurel, but that doesn't mean I know it 100%. And there's nothing saying that I need to learn. I can't learn. If someone says I know it all and I don't need to learn anymore, those are the people I like take a step back and all of a sudden they have like little warning signs around them. It's like, okay, if it makes you feel better to be in that little world of yours, that's fine. I've got other things to do. It's unfortunately, that's after easily 15, 20 years of taking it personally. It took me probably that long to realize, it's all about them and not about you, and this is their issue.
Helga?
Again, remembering. Oh, so we got called on a soapbox.
I don't know if it's really a soapbox.
This one's gonna turn into a soapbox.
Well,
hang on one moment. At least my camera is nice and freezes when I'm not making total derp face so far, which makes me really, really happy. Whatever magic came with this camera, I'm really grateful for it. No, you do not need derp face. Thank you. I make enough of those. So, to answer this question.
Like that.
Yep. To answer this question, how do I deal with people who are egotistical about their skill set in a way that insults or minimizes other people, in their field? I ask them why they're so insecure. We become egotistical out of fear and ego, and typically that ego leads to, oh my god, I have to prove that I know this. And thus I'm going to actually minimize. It's a very toxic thing, and most toxic behaviors come out of fear, which turn into aggression, i.e. what this is. And so I'll actually directly ask them, like, what are you afraid of? Like, what you are doing is actually a toxic behavior, and you are making the pool of knowledge smaller, and you are making the pool of students smaller. And because of that, you're actually taking away from the experience because your fear about needing to be the expert. And most experts, if you actually meet true experts in their field, they're very, very mellow. And they're very just like, they'll just kind of like politely correct you, and you just wait until you find one of those egotistical ones who are like, well, what do you know? They're like, I fucking wrote that book, you idiot. And then you're like, my bad. However, that's actually one of the things, instead of dealing with it, so I try to make sure that the people that are affected by it know that there is a bigger pool of knowledge out there to go seek, and people that are much less afraid and then mean to deal with. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take the time to go ask that person and be like, what's your deal? Why are you acting this way? What are you afraid of? Like, can we actually help and move forward through this? Like, are you having a moment where you yourself are feeling insecure, so you have to prove yourself against everybody else? Is this compare and despair? Or is this like did somebody bad touch you at some point about your knowledge set, and now you need to like, I know all these things and I'm this great person? Nobody's gonna follow that. Like, I'm sorry, we're all kind of over that attitude. Like, to be an asshole, be like, okay, boomer, like, maybe just fucking understand that the pool of knowledge is much, much larger, and enjoy that and be a part of it and give to it, and people that seek your knowledge will come to you. Like, they will show up to ask you. It's great. and if you're nice, they stick around. There we go. I'm going to count that as a soapbox because I have a weird thing about that.
So my answer is kind of a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of column Ghislaine, a little bit of column Helga. First of all, I don't do pissing contests with anybody. It really irritates me when someone walks up and is like, I know all about this subject and that I'm an expert in, and then won't like acknowledge my own knowledge and expertise in it. And I've had it happen a few times, not like a heck of a lot of times, but some, it's out there, it's happened. And I'll just smile, nod, and dismiss them as unworthy and walk away and just be like, oh, well, bye. And like, so I don't tend to engage people like that, but if they're really persistent and obnoxious about it, then it's hey, look, nobody knows everything about this particular subject matter. In my case, costuming, historical costuming. The historical record is filled with just massive gaps in knowledge. You can't say, oh, they did everything this way in like the 16th century when you're making a costume. No, you can't. You can't say that at all. We don't know what they did. We have like some extant garments that we can extrapolate from, but we can't just sit down and be like, it was done this way all the time, every day during this period. No, we can't. And anybody who says that is just fucking tedious, and I have zero patience for. But I also just feel like it is an insecurity thing, and rather than try to smash them over the head with my own knowledge, because that never works either, for me usually the safest and most sanity preserving thing is to just be like, okay, and then walk off, and just kind of like mental note that person is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, and minimize my interactions with them if at all possible. But yeah, the moment anytime anybody says there's only this way to do it, or I'm a total expert on this particular topic, I just immediately am like, okay, so that's not possible. You could be very, very knowledgeable in a subject area and you still don't know everything. So you're not impressing me by claiming that you know everything about this particular topic. It is no. I mean, maybe unless you're like, I don't know, inventing theoretical physics. And even then, I think they'd be the first people to tell you that they have no idea how any of it actually works. So, but that's my answer. So should we go to this next question?
We'll go to the next one. In conclusion, be nice about your knowledge. Jesus Christ.
Don't be a dick.
Measuring contest.
It's such an easy thing. Just don't be a dick. Like, come on.
What?
I guess it isn't that easy. I guess it's really hard because a lot of people have a hard time not being a dick. Huh.
Just true. Like, one of the ways I cope is if somebody's being a dick, I always think I'm like, oh, what are you afraid of? It helps me just not punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can, these two ladies right here. Okay, I will always say one of the biggest turn-ons to me is an individual who arrogant doesn't cover it. It's a matter of someone who knows so much and are confident in their knowledge. And these two women are dead sexy to me because of that. Because of their confidence in their knowledge. Plus, it's not a matter of like, yeah, they're shoving it at you. It's sort of like, yeah, I know what I know, and I don't need to prove it to you. So.
Oh, like all the heart.
Yay.
I think I try to remember that I don't know jack and shit. There's occasional times where I can geek out, but then I'm just like, I need better resources because I don't know actually how to answer that question. I'm really sorry.
Hey, Helga, apparently you froze again.
But in a really adorable facial expression.
Really cute.
Oh, yeah, I kind of look a little sassy right now.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Okay, so the next question is from Gisela, who is an amazing, awesome person that can make anything. Like, that woman is magic. If you suddenly came down with a case of independently wealthy, what hobbies or crafts would you dive deep on?
Oh, wow. I kind of want to
Do you need a moment?
say... What?
I was going to say, do you need a moment?
Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah, come back to me, please.
Because I know exactly what my answer is.
Okay.
Research. I would travel the world and research. Hit every major and minor European museum with a collection that lets me have access to it. I would go all in and touch all the things. You know, provided they needed me to wear gloves, I would do that too. But I would super use my wealth and influence to like get behind the scenes at the V&A and like, you know, just go pawing through that collection. And oh god, yeah. And I don't think I would really limit myself strictly to like one topic. I think it would just be like whatever whim I wake up with that morning or something. I'd be like, oh, I'll go fly my private jet over to Paris and just spend all day at the Cluny. And you know, yeah, that would be my answer. Definitely travel and research. Independent scholar, I guess, is what I would be.
So
Okay.
my answer on this one is I would take all the various period texts we have. Like this is, I'm going to do a very niche one. One, I would hire my friends to do this with me because we'd have to do it in batches and it would take years at a time. And I would take all the period texts that we have on choosing war horses or work horses and start from the beginning of the text in selection of horses, in training of horses, and go
Ooh.
all the way through the text with that animal and then compare it. Like I want to compare and contrast the different time periods text with actual training on the horses and like seeking out the closest breed possible to find, you know, what they would have used in period and everything else like that. And I would hire all my horsey friends to come do this with me because you have to do it, you know, between 5 and 10 horses per text. And then you'd have to be doing multiple texts at the same time. So you had all the animals at the same age bracket while they were being trained and worked and everything else like that. Because I think that that's an epic geek fest for me. Also a very, very expensive geek fest for me. Because I would hire a lot of my friends to come join me in doing it.
That's exactly a good point. I could not do this alone. I would have to bring my closest friends, all 400 of them if I could afford it because I'm independently wealthy. And in that case, I am richer than, you know, Jeff Bezos. And we'll just go travel the world and research. It'll be great. And then we'll go home and live in the, you know, a fabulous medieval castle that I bought. And yeah.
So, comes along, I'll carry your bags.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
No, you're gonna be my equine specialist or something. Because of course I'm going to have horses. Who wouldn't? I'm rich, right? I need horses, even though I don't ride at all. It's just the principle of the matter. So somebody's got to ride all my horses and like make them not suck.
I'm
That
good
would be
with
you,
this. I
Helga.
will totally be your very well paid stable hand.
Yeah, exactly.
With lack. Ghislaine, do you have an answer now?
Okay, there. I keep thinking. I'm sitting here going, well, I want to give this person an opportunity. I want to give this person an opportunity. I want to give this person and I keep not thinking about myself because, I mean, sure, if I had unlimited wealth, yeah, I want to go ahead and do more research in my preferred field. But something I've always wanted to do would be to do the pilgrimages. And not just, I mean all the pilgrimages. Start at the starting point, take the boat over, do the marches, do the walking in period clothing, in period shoes, in doing the stop.
Yeah. I had a friend who did, her and her husband and a couple of other friends, they're Scadians. They walked the Camino Real, I think, in period.
Oh, yeah.
In period clothes and did the whole like period shoes. And turns out like period shoes wear out real fast.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think they went through their backup pair before they finally just kind of accepted that they needed to wear like modern hiking shoes about halfway through. But it was still a really cool concept. And And for Thorfinn, now you can drink if you want. For Thorfinn's 50th, we were talking about doing a walk the Hadrian's Wall. It was in Roman kit. That's what we were going to do.
That would be so
That's
cool.
a death march, I hear.
It is. I actually have another set of friends who walked Hadrian's Wall. They did it with mundane clothes, but it took them about 2 weeks. And yeah, there was a lot of it was very damp and wet. And they actually ran into a guy who walks like sections of it in Roman costume. I think he's kind of a local eccentric guy who walks along the perimeter or along the wall in sections, and she kind of just shows up in Roman kit. I'm like, I want that job.
That's super cool. I'd be all
that random eccentric dude.
One of the big things, though, for me doing the pilgrimage, though, is that with my divination, one of the main focuses I started with was what's the mindset, because the mindset of the individual or the individuals or the group doing divination or the curses or charms or talismans and such like that, or putting this all together, they have a specific mindset, be it they're from a ocean, a fishing village, if they're from a farming village, if they're from the mountains, if they're Christian, if they're Arabic, if they're Jewish, if they're Muslim. I mean, there's this whole back and forth of the mindset. I want to know, honestly, the mindset and the, just thinking and meditation, everything that goes with doing the pilgrimage, as well as cursing your shoes in the weather. But I want to understand this better, and to me, that would be a cool way of doing it.
I like it. That's a good question. That is. You're
And I do know something. The Lady of the Lake has arrived with a very sharp sword, so I'm not snatching the tonight. She says, "Hi. What's your favorite photo you've taken?" And the host's favorite Ghislaine photo. German sword in honor of Ghislaine.
Ah.
Very sharp German sword.
I can't see you, so. Oh, it's a German sword. That's right. Zweihänder.
Hang on 1 second. She brought her favorite photo.
Unfortunately, I can't see you, so.
German garb.
You took it at St. Michael's.
Okay, I know the photo then. Okay.
Was the one that was like a bunch of years ago, and you just like pieced together the fact that you had taken that photo of her randomly? I feel like I remember that.
Yeah.
I always knew Alice. So I knew her when she came into the SCA. It's sort of like, fuck. Oh, sorry.
No, never mind. It is her SCA name. You just have to spell it.
Alice. I don't know. We say it like we're French.
But I hadn't realized. I didn't think she would remember me. And there was kind of this back and forth thing about it, and we finally we do connect on where we met each other. The favorite photo I've taken, and it's the one that's stuck in my brain right now, is the one of Helga, where she is hitting the shield wall, and this is at a Missinagua War a couple of years back.
Was this the one she's queen at the time?
Yes, what was fantastic?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
What was fantastic about that one? Yeah. I was just thinking what was fantastic about that is that Darkwood, the Barony of Darkwood, has a castle that they can bring onto site, and they will build this tower. And it's wood and all this stuff, but it has a staircase so you can go to the top platform. So, yeah, photographer, I'm going to the top platform. And I'm taking photos as best as I can. And I already knew as soon as I hit the trigger on the camera that, oh my God, I think I got the shot. I will say this, especially when people are being elevated. Knights, if I can get the buffet shot, if I can get the dubbing shot for laurels, if I can get the medallion or the the cloak shot. These are absolute things I try for. But this shot, I'm just like, oh my God. And I think it was like 6 hours later. And I'm at home and it's after midnight or something like that. And I can't wait. Usually I wait a day to download things. I'm downloading, I'm looking at this picture, I find it, I'm just staring at it for minutes going, I did it. I actually caught an amazing shot. And being a photographer, you actually think most of your shots are crap. But it's like, I think I did it this time.
That shot's insane.
It's amazing.
Yeah. People are asking if they can actually see it. If somebody can drop a link.
Right now.
Oh yeah.
If we can pull it up, we can also post it to the group after the fact. But it's a pretty great shot. And I will say, Ghislaine is one of my favorite photographers. She works really hard to flatter her subjects in kind of a way that I've never experienced with other photographers. And I hate getting surprise photographs or when people take pictures of me and I don't know about it, because I always inevitably am making a stupid face. Usually, like I say, resting constipation face. I'll be like, or something in it, and you see all the fact that I have no chin, I've got I just ugly, bleh, right? Because Lane, after having been my dear friend for so many years, understands that I've got all of these neuroses about everything, and is very deliberate and very, very patient, and is willing to take 100 shots just so that one or two come out perfect. And so she's on my very short list of photographers that I'm like, I trust whatever you're doing, girl. You're good. So
I have muses. As a photographer, I have muses, and Tulia is one of them. Elena Edgar is one of them. Uta is one of them. Ula is one of them. Etain. These women are my muses, and in fact is I have to, because every time I see you, you look glorious. I don't care if you think you're wearing rags. You look glorious. And how many of us on Facebook or any place else have that great photo that shows up and we're like, and great, we're there for eternity. Lovely. And
yeah,
I made a promise to myself, like, I will not put up a photo of someone that isn't attractive of them and shows them in their best light. And maybe once or twice I may not hit the mark, and I've been asked, I'm not fond of that one. I'll take the photo down, not a problem. But yeah,
you can ask her to remove the photo. She's like, yeah, cool. She won't be like, oh well, and be all sad about it or hurt. She's like, no, you didn't like it? Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah.
You're doing me the honor of letting me take your photo, so that's a huge thing.
Gosh. Yeah. Well, I feel like it's an honor for you to take my photo. So I'm posting to the chat group. I don't know if the link will actually work, but it's a Facebook link, unfortunately, to my favorite photo that Ghislaine took of me. And I actually, heck, taken a million of them. But this actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many. Just look at my profile photos, and I'll tell you probably 70% of them are ones Ghislaine's taken of me. They aren't selfies. So.
And I actually will say this now. If I am at an event and I have my camera, come find me. I am happy to take photos of people. If you're really proud of a new outfit you're wearing or a new fighting rig you have on or jewelry, I am happy to take photos because it makes you happy, makes me happy.
Yeah.
So my favorite Ghislaine photo is actually one she took of Zeus Goose, who was my foster German Shepherd for 3 years. And she put her cornet on him, and he is just the cutest little furry fucker there. He was such a good dog. He'd hang out with Ghislaine. I would just park him with Ghislaine at gate. When I needed to go fight, I'd be like, "Hey, Ghislaine, do you want Goose?" And she'd be like, "Sure." And so he'd just sit at gate with her, or hang out in whoever's camp. He was one of the coolest foster dogs I have ever had, and I love that I still get to interact with him.
It's an amazing dog.
He's a good boy.
And
He was our mascot at the law office for many years, and is sorely missed. And actually, literally the best doggo I think I've ever met. And I know that's just going to offend everybody else's doggos, but I'm sorry, you haven't met Zeus. Also,
handsome boy.
Super fixated on Helga, like just imprinted hard on, like, Helga would go into like a room and shut the door, and Zeus would sit there. He's this beautiful German Shepherd, he's a dark coated German Shepherd, and he would just sit there. Like, I have so many photos of him with his like nose on his paws, like right up against the door, just.
I was in meetings with my boss, and you could hear him breathing under the door.
He is a good dog. He is a good dog. He is still with us.
Yeah, he's back with his original people, because they finally got into a housing situation that they can have him back. And so I'm very sad, also super glad, because he's the best. So
we just got the 5 minutes. We're over 5 minutes, so we probably should cut for a commercial break. Okay.
Longshift Luxury Goods is your one-stop shop for all your Viking needs. From clothing to feast gear and everything in between, we are the place to shop. Leather pouches, Viking long coats, chemises, drinking horns, flasks, potion bottles, knives, bone cups, and so much more. Please visit our website, longshipluxurygoods.com. Thanks for listening. Are you an SCA, fair, or LARP merchant? Since COVID-19 has hit and we've had to stay in place, so many events have been canceled. How do you make a buck? How do you keep your product going? How do you get the attention of all those people that are doing nothing now? The answer is to place an ad with Between Two Peers. You can supply us with images and copy, and we'll take care of your ad, or you can make your own. To get started, message one of the ladies from the show or message one of the tech crew. We want to get you out there. We want to promote your product. Thanks for listening. Longshift Luxury Goods is your one-stop shop for all your Viking needs. From clothing to feast gear and everything in between, we are the place to shop. Leather pouches, Viking long coats, chemises, drinking horns, flasks, potion bottles, knives, bone cups, and so much more. Please visit our website, longshipluxurygoods.com. Thanks for listening. Are you an SCA, fair, or LARP merchant? Since COVID-19 has hit and we've had to stay in place, so many events have been canceled. How do you make a buck? How do you keep your product going? How do you get the attention of all those people that are doing nothing now? The answer is to place an ad with Between Two Peers. You can supply us with images and copy, and we'll take care of your ad, or you can make your own. To get started, message one of the ladies from the show or message one of the tech crew. We want to get you out there. We want to promote your product. Thanks for listening.
Hi, everybody. We're back. How's life? So that was a super fascinating and very important conversation about doggos that we just had before the break. Now let's get back to the The topic at hand, questions. So the next question we have comes from Roberto Fernandez. Is there ever too much courtesy, and what does that look like?
Okay, there's a few sides to that particular stiletto. Too much courtesy. There is too much courtesy in that a person is being ingratiating and insincere. There is too much courtesy in that they are being sincere and being a creeper.
Yep.
And there's too much courtesy in I lost the train of thought on that third one. But there is a third one. I'll have to think about it. But it bothers me because insincerity can come across as, you know, I can read it. You're just being too nice, too friendly, too pleasing, too everything. And after a while, I mean, years ago when I was super naive, when I was young and dumb, because I was extremely naive. I grew up extremely sheltered. So after a while, you learn what people are like. They're looking for something, or they're just being polite because they want something, or they're trying to impress somebody. Not necessarily you, but somebody else. And then there's the ones who are the too much that you feel like you need to take a shower after just talking with them. Men and women alike have experienced these kind of people, and it's I actually, it diminishes my joy for the day because I encounter those individuals, and it's, you know, I was having a lovely day. I was having a lovely drink. All of a sudden, my drink tastes like lemon juice and piss because you have just colored my entire world for this next 10 minutes. And I try to be polite back because it's very rare that I will say, you know, I'm just not into this conversation. Usually I'm going, you know, excuse me, I've really have to be elsewhere. Yeah. There's something also that it is, God, what is the term for it? It is practiced humility.
I think the word I would. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You finish your thought.
Yeah, the term practiced humility, where, and I've seen people do it where they were showing, oh, you must be very polite, you must be very thankful, you must be very ingratiating, you must be very complimentary. And so you will get along with these people. And it's like, you know, after a bit, people are not as stupid as you think. There may be a few lalas out there, but by and large, people are not as stupid as you think. And they can tell when you're being way over the top and there is no humility in really anything you're saying. It's like, oh, I love this, I love your project, I love your thinking, I love this. I'm going, you don't remember my name because you haven't said it yet. And I did that to a person. I did that to a person at Great Western War last. I looked at them, I said, you don't know my name, do you? Well, of course I do. Well, what's my name? And I hung them out to dry for about 5 minutes. Because I was like, yeah, you know what? It's a beautiful event we're having here, and I see you have wine and everything. You know what? I don't. So I'm going to go fix myself some. But you have an amazing day.
Yeah.
So, and out of there.
Yeah, the word I was looking for was obsequious. Like, that's the excessive.
Ooh, good word.
Excessive kindness to the point where you're just like.
Yeah.
Helga?
So, welcome to Helga's Soapbox. Again,
Ooh.
So there actually isn't such thing as too much courtesy, because when you start violating rules of consent or boundaries, you're no longer courteous. You're an asshole. So, and this can
The
be
lady has it.
This can be as simple as refusing to not take a chair from somebody. So it is very courteous in our society that when somebody is walking to a door or walking across the air or anything else like that, especially the older members of our society or our ladies, to offer to take their chair, to offer to take their basket. If they say no, it is discourteous to continue pushing, because now you are violating their boundaries. Trust them when they give you the boundaries, and go the fuck away. Find somebody else to help. It is discourteous when you also choose to ignore them, because you've been, women always tell me they don't want their chairs taken. Continue to offer. When you are expecting an outcome of your offer, you are actually being discourteous, because you are now pre-programming that conversation, and it needs to go your way. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bitch. So, there's never such thing as too much courtesy, because courtesy also is followed with humility. And humility says when you are rejected, in quotes, you take it humbly and give that person their space. So be courteous. Don't be a douchebag and do something for your own ego.
I feel like I'm torn partly between like saying too much about my personal life and not saying enough about it, but I was with a man for about a decade who was sort of known for this kind of behavior, and a lot of it was me trying to, tone it down and let's knock over the top, and and it just never sank in. And that was where the obsequious came from, where it was like, really?
Mhm.
You don't have to be so like intense with your niceness, and don't have to bend over backwards all the time just to get people to like you. Like it's okay and also sort of protective of yourself to not be constantly doing like that excessive amount of trying to impress others or help others to the point where it's like you're not really helping them, you're kind of just helping yourself. Like you're stroking your ego there. It's not really, yeah. So having had that experience very much firsthand up close, I'm like, if somebody asks to do something for me, but I'm okay with them not doing it for me for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. Like the example of I'm carrying a heavy chair across the camp, and someone walks up and says, "Oh, my lady, can I take that from you and carry it for you?" And 9 times out of 10, I'll probably say yes, because I'm little and carrying unwieldy shit is really awkward, especially when you're in a long skirt, and it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. And so normally I would be like, yes, but there are times where I'm like, no, I got it. And the best thing that someone can do in that situation is to just be like, oh, okay, well, have a good day, and like walk off. I had this happen to me one time mundanely. Actually, it just came to my brain about I was at the grocery store many years ago, and I just doing my own thing, like in my own little world, pushing my cart out to my car, loading my groceries up into the, put it in the car. And suddenly I'm in the midst of, I just get like the trunk open of my car, and this guy swoops in out of nowhere and just starts putting my bags in the car, just goosh, 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 goosh. Scared the shit out of me. And then I turns around and he like storms off again. And I'm just like, what the actual fuck just happened? It was really weird.
I am the forceful avenger.
Exactly. Like, I am going to be forcefully nice to you, random lady in the parking lot. And I'm like, like, when you get around for like a thank you or a what the fuck was that? It was weird, but I've had that same similar kind of experience in the SCA where someone just walks up and grabs a thing and then like marches off with it to my encampment. And I'm always like, hey, could you just ask if I needed that help? That would be really nice to involve me in the process.
Yeah.
But yes, Helga.
No, you don't know what you want.
No, of course not. I'm just a helpless young lady, right?
I realized that we did something.
What do we do?
It actually goes both ways in the gifter and the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And we only talked about the gifter of courtesy in this. And so there is you have to be also courteous of what people are offering and courteous in either the acceptance or rejection of that offer. So if somebody asks for help or asks you to provide, they're asking to provide you help, and you reject them in a disingenuous manner or in a non-courteous manner, you are committing the same sin they are. So there is courtesy. It is a two-way street, and we must remember that both courtesy and humility are reciprocal, and they build on each other. And so if somebody is discourteous, continue to be courteous. You may actually teach them a lesson on being courteous, even if you don't want help and are having a bad day, or just don't want to be around people with them. Be courteous about it, because they are extending a kindness to you. If we automatically assume people want something out of us, we will be discourteous out of a protective nature of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Baroness Celine actually said performative chivalry in the comment section on the YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's just really for your own ego. But yeah, I didn't
exactly
to underscore what Helga said. It absolutely courtesy, like all the virtues, is a two-way street, and when you're doing it too much in one way or the other, it's literally, it becomes less about anything else other than your own ego, and that's not good. That's not a good look. Trust me.
Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
This one comes from Eric of the Two Ravens. What inspired your first device in the SCA? Why did you like it?
Okay, so I'm going to tilt my screen. That right there is my current heraldry. Not my first device. My first device was done in college. It was blue and white chevrons and a chief with a, I think it was a herald staff. And it was one of the things of like, I could design heraldry. I'll be the fastest. I was such a jerk in college. I truly was. So I can design this faster than anybody. And I designed it and it's fine, but it wasn't me. Years later, I wanted something that spoke more about me. And when I was a little kid, for people who have been up in the mountains or in the places away from the city with the lights, and you're in Yosemite or some of these other places, and you look up and there's 10 million stars. Not to go into my childhood, but I needed to figure out safety. I needed to know I was okay. And every time I would look up and I would see the stars, even if I didn't see the moon, if I saw the stars, I knew everything was right in the world. So stars are it. And then also when you get a compass star, when you're trying to find your way, home or the new direction you're going in, compass stars say a lot about that too. So my heraldry is actually a little bit twofold. It is, I am finding what is okay. I am taking care of myself. And then I'm also finding my way forward. I'm finding my path forward. And it has pretty much been me the entire time. And I can't think of actually a better symbol for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my first heraldry, Fisher-Price first heraldry, is not this. This on the laurel wreath. It's the cross flurry. This is something that I registered in 2013, I think, about a year after I got laurel. And you get, like, when you get your peerage, you kind of get your get out of jail free card with your previous name and device. You get a kind of a free pass for the College of Heralds to register a new name and device. And I took that option because before that the name and device that I'd have registered before, it worked when I was that age in like my early 20s, and after so long, I kind of turned into this thing where I was like, yeah, it's not really me though. So my first registered SCA name, I had other unregistered SCA names I went by, but my first registered SCA name was Sarah Widville. And my first registered device was Per-Fess Argent and Paley Argent and Sable in Canton, a rose, a Bordier Sable. So it was basically a black and white. It was all in black and white. It had a sable border, a black border. The top part was white with a black heraldic rose in the off to one side, and I can't remember now which side it was, in Canton, a rose. And then beneath it, it had black and white stripes beneath it. And I was very much into black and white stripes. I was a big goth. Still kind of am, but very much so at that time. And so it fit me really well. And in fact, my laurel medallion is kind of a riff on this, and I don't know how well this will show up, but it is, come on, focus. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got that black sable rose, and very late period, very pretty. And now I do early period, and my name is Italian. And I went with kind of this very vaguely generic medievally looking substitute of a device, which I absolutely love, and I think is actually far more me than the previous one. But I like the colors black and white. I like black and white stripes a lot. I had striped everything at that period in my life. And I liked the heraldic rose. I thought it was really cool. And when I first joined the SCA, the heraldic rose was restricted only to women who, or I guess at the time it was only women because it was only allowed to have opposite sex reigning couples, but basically women who had reigned and were roses essentially. I think there was kind of I can't remember exactly how the rules worked out, but basically if you were just like, some random person like I was, you weren't allowed to register a heraldic rose in your device. And then that changed. Several years into my SCA experience, and I was suddenly like, well, fuck it, I'm going to register a rose because I can, huh? And being a late period tutor, Elizabethan persona, I was like, yeah, that's right, bitches, that's what I'm doing. So that explains my affinity for the first registered device that I had. But it was a period in time in my life, and now I'm sure I'm going to get all the heralds in the chat, including my apprentice, being like, "That's wrong. You got it all wrong." So, have at it, guys. I can take it.
So my first device is my device.
It's actually a really cool device.
So the only difference is it couldn't. So it was before the heraldic rules changed. So it bounced against somebody's device that doesn't even fucking look like mine. And so I've got red and white Gyrene with a cooped sable horsehead.
Hey, Araya. Sorry, I used your Monday name, but your camera froze. Oh, now you came back. It came back. Okay.
I was just holding really still.
No, your lips weren't even.
Oh, no, it actually looks like
it froze. Oh, that is a really good skill pose.
I'm not sure what it is. It's like my computer likes to do this, and I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a red and white Gyrene background with a cooped sable horsehead. And that is my first device. The only difference is it wouldn't pass because it bounced off a guy that doesn't play anymore's device. That was a black horse on a a quarterly background, and quarterly and Gyrene used to bounce. It wasn't even the same colors in the background, but there was not enough difference to pass. And so we added a border with Essentials in it to honor both my knights. And I ran around with that device for close to 10 years before I actually got it registered, because one of my friends is a herald. And when the herald bounced it like multiple times but didn't give me options on like how I could fix it or ways to fix it, my little white sprinkled drink self totally just got stubborn and was like, fine. I know nobody else has this device, and eventually I'll figure out how to pass it. And so I painted it on everything. And people will be like, do you have your device pass? I'll be like, nope, me and the Heralds are having an issue. And then Chad, actually, or Loy, was at a Herald's meeting, and he's like, I can get your device to pass. Just give me carte blanche. I was like, okay, you have carte blanche, because I'm not dealing with the Heralds anymore. And since then, I will tell you that I really respect the heraldic establishment. However, as a college student, I was an asshole. So,
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, let's go for some Letterkenny references right now. I feel like we were assholes in high school and college. Like, I think that's a rite of passage you got to get through to not become an asshole. Baby Ninja just said can confirm. Are you live? Can they hear you, Baby Ninja? Damn it. Okay, because
so Baby Ninja and Curious, you're both getting more and more requests to just have your guys' mics hot.
I think you guys should have hot mics, personally. Okay, we're gonna work on that.
They said they'll work on it for you guys. Yeah. All right, so are we ready for the next question?
Let's go to the next question. Alrighty, where are we? We're down here. This now I'm getting feedback. What's that coming from?
Oh.
Okay. That wasn't happening before. This one comes from Call. What the most loudest and ridiculous garb you've ever made / worn?
Oh man. Does for theater count?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Okay, so I belong to the West Kingdom's acting troupe, which is the Golden Stag Players. And in one of the plays, we were doing sort of a revamp of Beowulf. Kind of Beowulf meets Commedia. And I played Grendel's mom. Don't think too hard on that one. And now here was the problem. The person who wrote, this is Mistress Margreta Raun, Meg, who wrote the playlet, intended Grendel and Grendel's mom to be Jaeger monsters. Now, if you're familiar with Girl Genius, you know what Jaeger monsters are. So, I made a German gown. Now, the German gown was obnoxious with harlequin and weird colors and clashing colors. I mean, it probably looked perfect German, but it was painful to look at it for any length of time because it would start vibrating. The colors, not me. Get that out of your head. So, that to me is probably the only other one I can think of. Was years and years and years ago, I actually attempted to do a Minoan outfit.
I want to do one of those.
Minoan outfit.
I do.
Yeah, right?
I really do.
But no one really understood it.
Yeah.
No one really understood it at the time because no one had really attempted it. If you look up Minoan snake goddess.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. And it's cut underneath the bust and everything, but I went ahead and I did document that one. A modesty panel. So I wrapped myself in cheesecloth and I got this outrageous color of the most obnoxious blue and the most obnoxious gold and apron and hat and braids and everything else. And yeah, that was special. So, thankfully, no photographs. So, that's what I got.
I still want to do it before I, get too old and gravity takes too much of a toll on my body. But I really, really want to do the full-on, tits out, just...
Oh, yeah.
Suck it. Because it is a fabulous costume. Hey, Araya.
Can we all do this as a group?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you want to join in?
I'm totally down for this. Come on.
Yeah.
So the most ridiculous garb I've ever made / worn. So I'm gonna go with my current set of Roost pants that I have that are bubblegum pink. Like, they're not just like, okay, cool, that dye. So, by the way, bubblegum is actually a dye color that you can get in, like, 14th century Europe, which is really cool. There's actually, like, you can get that color. The color exists. Like, my hair color exists as a dye in period. However, probably for the Roos, maybe, but they are, like, you can spot me in the dark. Those things are so neon. And I loves them. And we're probably going to stamp them in lime green. So we'll put lime green stamping lines on them. And that's the most ridiculous / obnoxious thing that I really own. Because, yeah, there you go. You can't miss me in those pants.
I'm a late period Laurel. Like, what wackiness haven't I worn? Probably the weirdest thing, just in terms of like weird for modernize, makes total sense if you're living in the 1580s. Is a 1580s gown that I made probably 10 years ago or something for a 12th night, and I did the big wheel farthingale. The whole thing, the proportions on it are just so alien to the modern eye, and yet so cool. It was a trip to wear, like, just that, talk about having your space, personal space protector and everything, and people approach you far differently when you're in this massive outfit. And I, like a previous guest of ours, Baron Aaron, was talking about that, where people treat you way differently when you're in a huge dress, and really like, whoa, okay. Weird wacky things. I just shoot, like, that's probably the weirdest to modern eye that I've ever made. But to be honest, like, everything that we wear in the SCA to one degree or another is just really weird to the modern eye. Some people that I know, in the mundane side of things, just they'll never get it, and they're never going to be okay with like comfortable wearing anything like that. They just think it's just completely weird. And even something as normal, how I feel pretty normal in what I'm wearing, it's just going to be too much. And this is very basic. I'm like, this is just kind of your bog standard tunic, and I've got some wacky stuff on my head, but not over the top, nowhere near the weirdest stuff I've ever worn on my head. I also do 18th century costumes, so 18th century, like Marie Antoinette, and that's very, big skirt, big hair, just lots of fabric, and very artificial looking, and just very weird for modern eyes to contemplate, but a lot of fun.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Yep.
This is my favorite question. Just so you all know.
I like this. Yeah, this is a good one.
Is Rulov? Is how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Rulov, I think.
Yeah, Rulov. Don't knock it till you try it. But what will you never try again?
Wow.
Boys.
I'm going to, until I can think of there's one in the back of my brain, but I'm having to dig through memories. But right off the bat, I'm thinking, not the blue drink. When someone walks up to you.
No, I was going to say, I'm agreeing. What? Nodding.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, it comes from Alicia. I was approached by an Alician. It says, "Hey, we're trying all this stuff." I'm going, "Great. What is it?" It's blue. And of course, you get like the Star Trek episode through your head. And this is hysterical because I said, "Oh, okay." He goes, "It's blue curacao and Everclear." It's like, okay, that doesn't sound horrific. I take a swig of this stuff, and my body knew better than me. Because my everything shut down. My body refused to swallow it. I'm willing myself to swallow this drink, but no, it's just sitting in my mouth, burning me. It's like, well, my mouth is disinfected. That's great. It's a new scope. Hell. So, but otherwise, it's like, so I swallow it, and I could just hear my brain going, "You shall regret this later." Fortunately, I only took the one drink. It was fine, but it's like, oh yeah, don't unless it has a even if it's known ingredients. Yeah, don't take the blue drink. Don't take the red pill. Don't take the blue drink.
Yeah. The blue drink. I'd make it a habit usually, or policy, to not drink or eat anything blue. It's the reason why when they introduced blue M&Ms and took away the light brown M&M back in the day, like I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
M&Ms are dead to me now. I guess for mine, I would say I'm going to go with another drink. But in this case, it's actually a drink I liked. It was just far too dangerous to drink. I had it twice. I think it was called the Flaming Dragon, or something along those lines.
Oh my god, those are great.
They're delicious. It's chartreuse, with like some sort of like high octane, liquor that's like floated on top of it and then set on fire. And you hold your hand over the cup, and then you take it all in one shot. And I am shitty at taking shots, like all in one. I can't do it. My esophagus just like closes up and I choke, which is exactly what happened, except for it was on fire in my mouth. And I am so lucky that I did not literally damage my body doing, like, just, trying to do that shot with it on fire. And you're supposed to kind of like blow it out at first, and I don't think it went out when I kind of got it back there. And I'm pretty sure the damn thing was still burning my esophagus on its way down. And I am just horrifically lucky that I did not die a horrible, painful death.
Yeah, that's actually, there's like PR records for that.
I'm not trying that one ever again.
Okay, so am I the only one that's going to make this show rated R tonight?
Do you want me to say what I was going to say? The conversation we had.
You can go after me if you want to, because
I'm going to go again. I will give the explanation I gave to Helga.
Okay, so this question apparently is going to have a round, and we just got one drink. Don't knock it till you try it, but what will you never do again? I will never give a blowjob to a smoker to finish ever again. Jesus Christ.
Oh god, that is awful.
Tobacco and nicotine make cum just taste worse than unwashed ass. Just so you know, like, it is horrible. Why would anybody do that to any guy or girl that is sucking their cock? Really? At least gift them the moment of like a tap on the back of the head to be like, hey, I'm gonna come, like, pull off. Otherwise, you're gonna get a fucking mouthful of just hate. Like, never finish a fucking smoker. Like, ever. Like, they should, those last couple strokes can be their fucking hand. That's also, boys and girls, why you should quit smoking. Because pussy for smokers and cock for smokers, terrible. You are flavored like that fucking cigarette. It is disgusting.
Does that work for cloves?
Actually, cloves are delicious. I don't think cloves. I mean, just in my experience, I think cloves actually don't have that same problem. But comments right now. Oh man.
Okay, if we're gonna go that way, I have one, but I'll let Tulia go first.
My answer to Helga when we were discussing this yesterday was, right off the bat, I was like, anal, never doing it again. I've done it a few times. It is not for me. I've had pros do it who are like, I'm amazing. I have researched it and I have made sure that I was well prepped and everything was great and all that stuff. My butt's just not. It's not made that way for me. It just feels. I mean, if it's going well, it just feels like somebody is sticking something in your butt. And not like in a hot way, just like in something is here stuck in my butt. And
it's like, it's a reverse speculum. Great.
It is
more lube.
Nope, it's not more lube. Trust me. It is just like
more lube.
The kind of
trust me.
It's like there's just not those nerve endings in that particular area of my body. And it's just like,
Dan Savage says more lube.
Yeah, Dan Savage can say whatever he wants. I'm still saying my body, my autonomy. Don't argue with me on this.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I will say, massive turn on for me is going to town and being done while I'm in garb. Be it in garb, be it when I was at Ren Fair and I'm in costume there, whatever. There's something like, oh, look, I'm a romance novel cover or whatever. You're in the clothing, you're in costume, you're in garb. And there's something about a guy rutching up, I don't know how many levels of petticoats and this, that, and the other. And, oh, but my God. In the middle of Ren Fair.
Oh my God.
And, yeah.
It seems like it would be hot, but also not really.
Actually, no, I have to now just go sideways because I'm remembering this. Okay, having sex at Ren Fair is fine, one thing, whatever. It's hot, it's sweaty, whatever. Southern Ren Fair, when it was at, it was Devore, God, it was hell on earth hot. And it's like last weekend, so people are being a little weird, little interesting or whatever. And I'm with this sort of goth goddess German, and she and I are walking she goes, oh yeah, we've got invited to go behind stage at this one place. So this one booth, we go in past a curtain, go behind. There are two naked men laid out, and they have sushi laid out all over their naked bodies.
Interesting.
It's like, this would be hot. This would be amazing, except you are sweating all over my rice. Plus, it's hot, and that's raw fish. Here I am negating the whole fact that the boy is hung like a horse. I'm going, dude, that's botulism. I'm not doing this.
You know what? You just made me actually think that through. You're absolutely right. Anybody who's ever done especially Ren Fair back in the old days where it was dusty as fuck and you never properly showered the entire weekend. Ew.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, no. And it's like, oh, she goes, oh, I'll take this one. I'll take that one. You do you, honey. Look, I will take this vegetable roll that's on the towel up here. But everything else, I ain't touching you. I will hose you down with something first. I can't do this. Tobacco in all the wrong places.
Yeah. This is definitely an interesting show.
I was about to say, and I think this show just mic dropped to all other shows besides, I think we just finally caught up with Wash Your Balls.
But guess what though? I mean, is this not a really real conversation that you would be having late night at an SCA event around the fire?
Yeah.
For real. I mean, there's other things that I've heard, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to do that again. But that's my top one.
I'm sitting here trying to fucking be polite and proper, and Ghislaine is all demure and everything. And no, here comes Helga or Araya with her whole thing of oh yeah, don't go down. No, blowjobs. Yeah, smoker. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, I guess I can say my stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no holds barred on this.
So is everybody saying I should have gone first to set the tone?
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready for the next question after that?
I was actually going to suggest a question that I had that I suddenly thought up was actually segues really well with the Ren Fair topic. Do you want to just switch
I actually moved it up because of that. So yes.
Okay, perfect. So I said, my question that I suddenly had this great idea midstream in the show was, Ghislaine, you've done both Ren Fair and SCA. What are the similarities?
Yes.
What are the differences? And I'm not going to ask you to say which one's better because as someone who also does Ren Fair and SCA, they're two very different things. So they feel kind of like different niches.
They are. For the longest time, I held so many different offices. And maybe the attitude has changed back when I was in Kaid. Yeah, drink, whatever. But it was this whole thing of, you're supposed to be a lady. You're supposed to be proper. You're supposed to be polite. You're supposed to be, yeah, I get that. And I felt like I was under a magnifying glass or a microscope for so long. going to a Ren fair for a few weekends was my vacation, where I could be a little more raunchy. I could be a little bit more relaxed. I don't have to worry about certain protocols. But then you go to Ren fair, and after a while, it's like, I can't wait to go home and shower, not just get the dirt off of me and out of my sinuses, but also the leches. Because you've got the customers who come in and they're all going, hey, honey, because they've had like, Sir 10 of Cups. Yeah, they've had all their beers and everything, and they're just lurching at you. It doesn't matter. Hell, you could be 17 years old. They're not thinking about it. You're in costume. You're fair game.
Yeah.
Where it's the same and where it's different. Different has been for Ren Fair. It is purely, it's acting. It's it's really you're an actor and you're on all the time. You're there, but it's also probably the most vicious. Okay. It's the most bizarre drama I have ever seen. Let's go with that one. Germans are vicious to begin with. Alice, you can attest to that. Blythe can attest to that. The Germans are freaking vicious. However, not as vicious as the Puritans. We'll go with that one too. Puritanical, my ass.
I love the Ren Fair dirt that's coming out.
Granted, most of this is Southern, but there is so much unusual drama, and it's so visceral drama. When you get into the SCA, there is drama on the level of policy. There's drama on the level of debate. There's drama on the level of, okay, this person's a jerk. Was also what we're seeing with the bigotry and as well like that, and the racism and calling people out on that stupidity. And here we are in educational. We're really trying to strive for the educational and research of art and sciences, be it martial art, be it regular sciences, any kind of thing like that. Ren Fair, it's acting. Mm-hmm. It is performance. It is to make a profit, and you are there to help people spend money. I don't care if you're an actor. You're there to help people spend money. SCA, yeah, not so much that. But oh, man. I can go on a diatribe. Okay.
Well, and I wanted to interject because when you mentioned that it's the types of drama that exist in Ren Fair versus the SCA, I got my start in Ren Fair and kind of continued to do it sporadically throughout my entire time I've been in the SCA. Renaissance Fair here in Northern California, and then also the Dickens Fair, which is also a Northern California institution, run by very similar groups and with a lot of overlap. And there's a ton of overlap in the SCA as well. Like, we have people in the comments that, are both Ren Fair or Dickens and SCA. And so it is absolutely, we're all kind of part of this like larger community of historical recreation, reenactment. But the kind of like snipey, shitty little back and forth that exists between all those two communities just cracks my shit up, because it's like, Ren Fair's not perfect. Ren Fair's dealing with the same kind of shit that the SCA is dealing with right now in terms of trying to figure out how to navigate or how to deal with entrenched bigotry. They're having to have the same kind of conversations and same sort of problem solving the SCA is also going through right now. So it's just really funny when early on, like I think in the COVID, early on in COVID, and then all of this stuff in the SCA blew up. A lot of my Ren Fair only friends were like, ha ha, SCA sucks, right? And then like literally a week or two later, they're having the same exact kind of blow up. And I'm like, sucks, done. Like, you're not safe from this. And I always make the equivalency, or the kind of like the generic, Ren Fair is the drama club in high school, and the SCA is the chess club. Like we're the like kind of nerdies, like that really like to nerd amongst ourselves, and they're the I'm on stage all the time theater. Yeah. It's like, I don't do that very much, and I have a very low tolerance for that. So I take my Ren Fair very, very minimally these days. Helga, you had your hand up.
I was just about to say, I think any group is drama, and we try to justify our drama against other people's drama to feel better about our drama, and like it doesn't exist. It's kind of a weird like social thing that occurs with humans where we're just like, oh, that group has that drama right now. We're safe from that, and then you're like, aren't we going through that same drama right now because we're all humans and we don't know actually how to effectively communicate like adults about our feelings? Like, it's the same fucking thing, guys. So, but that always amused me. I started in the Ren Fair circuit at like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I know that. Yeah. Yeah, Ren Fair it's wonderful. Like some of my favorite memories have been Ren Fair memories.
Exactly.
Same thing with Dickens Fair.
Exactly.
Some real magical moments that like the immersive magical moments that are a little bit less, I feel a little less common in the SCA because we're not as focused on recreating a specific time and place and really being dedicated to that, authenticity. So the Ren Fair gets that, they get that thing. And they do it very, very well. And they're able to really like evoke that one point in time kind of feeling that I think a lot of us crave when we start or when we are in historical reenactment. But the SCA affords a more kind of I guess it's an academic kind of a liberation that you don't really get in Ren Fair, where you're more bound by, is it going to bring in customers? Is it going to generate income? Is it going to, fit the criteria of the period that we're going for? So we're only recreating 1560 to 1562, and the dress that you want to wear is from 1564. So it's just not going to work. And there's a lot of like arbitrary rules around like costumes. The costume mistress is usually the one who's calling the shots, and she has a vision. And if it doesn't fit the vision, fuck you. Like I have a whole thing about
Queen's Court is all in black, and
there's a lot of restrictions on what you can wear. There's a lot of restrictions on how you can present yourself. And in the SCA, by and large, we don't have as much as that. Like, there's a few things that are restricted when you come to like coronets, and then like white belts, and then the laurel wreath or pelican, and the mod symbol. Those things are kind of verboten for anybody that's not a member of one of those orders or sitting in a throne. But beyond that, like I can wear purple. Can't do that at Ren Fair. Nope.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's documentable. Doesn't matter that at my time in my station as a baroness, I could do that. Fuck you, no, you can't wear purple. That's just across the board the line that's drawn there, and they stick to that. And that I found really like infuriating because I have all this documentation to refute a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no, it just doesn't fit our vision.
It's theatrical. What is theatrical?
Yeah, exactly. They're going with a theatrical stage production. And if you're not geeked out about drama, like theater, Ren Fair is going to be kind of a real slog. And I speak from experience when I say that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, I think that was a soapbox, so I'm going to drink.
I don't know if it's soapbox.
I have a lot of feelings. So, all right.
So many feelings.
Want to do the
last question, which I'll take since you got this last one.
Yeah.
So, Ghislaine.
Is this last question you said?
Yeah, there's one last question.
Ghislaine, this question comes from Ghislaine. In your opinion, what is the worst movie that you yourself have ever watched?
So many. But the thing is that they're bad, but I love them all. Oh God, a movie that I will never get my life back from. Here's the thing. When I ask those questions, if I never watched Waterworld. Sorry, that was answering one of the guys. So I ask these random questions, like random Thursday question or random whatever question, and half the time they're questions I If you look, I never answer them myself. I always just ask them out to everybody else. And usually it's because my brain has I can't be the only one thinking this. And that's when I put them out there to everybody. Worst movie. Oh, I gotcha. And this will piss off my Laurel. Rustler's Rhapsody. Oh my fucking God. What a pile of shit that is. I get what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be every trope of a Western. I understand that in a humorous form. That's fine. But oh my God, no. It is. I don't care if it's predictable, but it doesn't even have good dialogue. It doesn't have to me, if a movie has sentience that I can see it getting up off of the screen and walking away, I'm down with this. I mean, I like terrible movies. I love terrible movies. Doom, Jaws. Jaws is my sewing movie. Doom is my sewing movie. Rustler's Rhapsody, no. Put it on. I will start taking Benadryl to knock myself out. Okay.
Yeah. There's so many, like, I really, really like bad movies in a, MST3K sort of context.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fine. In fact, I'm watching everybody mentioning stuff on the chat, and Meg brought up Quest of the Delta Knights, which actually ties into Ren Fair because it was filmed at I think Northern. It may have been Southern. Actually, it may have been Southern. But it was actually filmed back in like the kind of late 80s, early 90s, and it's filled with people from Ren Fair and SCA as extras in it. So MST3K did one. A show, an episode of it, and it is a trip to watch it. And it's funny because it's MST3K, so that makes it all the more enjoyable. But I think so, and this is something that I get in a heap of shit with from my boyfriend because it's his favorite movie, and this movie just infuriates me. And it's a good movie. I think it got nominated for Oscars. La La Land. I hate that movie so much. It makes me so mad.
No way. No, thank you.
So angry. And he's like, but it's so romantic and it's so da 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 da. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, I hate these characters. I hate that they're just not going to get together. I hate that they're miserable at the end of the fucking movie. Like, just give me something. Come on. And it just doesn't. And it's, yeah. So I guess you get like Ryan Reynolds. That's what you get. Good. Yay. Hooray. Not my cup of tea. Helga?
So mine is a movie and a movie series. It is a franchise that can go fuck itself. Any of the Transformer movies. That is a bad touch to my childhood. I would like to note that they weren't some stupid fucking creature, and they didn't just go wandering around. Like, you don't hide one of those fuckers. Like, they knew that they were going to be destroyed if they were fucking found. And that entire thing, they are just, how they portray the Transformers is just so fucking idiotic. There's no depth to them. Like, nothing whatsoever. And that entire thing is like, I'd rather eat a ream of paper than ever fucking watch that movie again. And like, a ream of paper time with no water. Like, just for fuck's sake, it is terribly done. Nobody knows how to act. They ruined every character in that entire thing. Also, I realized that I'm a 90s kid. I watched both the animated series and the 3D animated series, and I absolutely enjoyed them for their delightful character development as a child that really taught me about the virtues and knightly fucking traditions, because if you actually pay attention to any of those fucking characters, that's what they're doing. And no, in the movie, they just read terribly like, no!
See, those movies are what I consider a conveyance for special effects. That was the same with the Lost in Space movie. That was the same with some of the Godzilla movies. The ones with the stupid ones, not the cool Godzilla. I am a child of Godzilla. You must have the real Godzilla, not these stupid freaking lizard Taco Bell things.
I absolutely adore that one, amusingly enough. Like, I don't know why I love that Godzilla. It's just not Godzilla to me. That's just basically a T-Rex got loose. But I absolutely adore that movie. It's just, like, it was a special effects jerk-off, but whatever.
Well, there we go.
Oh, we got 15 more minutes. Come on, 15 more minutes. Let's make it 2 hours.
All right, look here. Now my mic is hot. The problem with Transformers is the character that never actually talks and talks through radio has more character than everybody that has a voice on that whole fucking series. Okay? And 2, the Dinobots? Guys, Grimlock smash. Look, he has 2 jobs. Be stupid, smash things. It's not hard. Really. You find a dude who hit his head too much in football, put him in the thing, and he can just go, Grimlock smash, and then blow everything up. That's literally the whole character. Also, Starscream, not that goddamn smart. That dude's a coward, and he should go back to fucking Cybertron. And next time you want to take all the Prime and fuck up the whole time system and go, oh, one of them's a bad guy? Yeah, take that shit somewhere else, Michael Bay. This is not about explosions and hot women, okay? This is about robots that know how to take over worlds and save the fucking universe.
I was about to say, Michael Bay bad touched our childhood.
I really think that Baby Ninja has a lot of emotions he needs to work out about.
And they forgot one important character, okay? One major character, Blur, from the whole Unicron series. That man teaches you so many life lessons and says it in under 3 seconds. Where is Blur? Also, they killed the best fucking combat warrior in the very first episode. Just ripped him in half, like some kind of crazy people. And then you make the motorcycles on one wheel? What kind of nonsense is that? There's no stability. How are they going to do anything as far as combat on one goddamn wheel?
Oh God, something
so hard, and I think with that mic drop.
I gotta throw one out. I gotta throw one out because Hana, Seonji no Hana, just posted something and said, and I completely agree with this. Also, going to get a lot of hate mail from Skadians about it. A Knight's Tale. Fucking hate that movie so much. I can't get over the fact that the princess is just like, who the fuck? Like, why doesn't he go with like the cute blacksmith girl? No, he's got to go with like wacky, weird hair supermodel chick who just does nothing like at all in the entire movie. And we're all supposed to just be like, oh, but it's a really great like example of chivalry and blah blah blah. Like, fuck no. I'm sorry.
No,
don't buy it.
It's actually one of the most period examples we
No.
have.
No.
Romance. But no. They're like, I'm turning you on the soapbox here, and your hate for that. However, if you look at it from like one of the most period reasons, he was after pussy and money, so he chose the high maintenance chick that actually came with a dowry versus the one that would have actually rocked his goddamn world. But they would have
apparently was married. I missed.
Fucked his way to fame.
Well, here's the other problem. He was made a knight, okay, which means he gets all the benefits. He could have picked the blacksmith girl, and now they both have land. Then he gets better armor. But no, he had to pick Crazy McGee that had to, like, shut him out for half the fucking movie. No, he had the lightest goddamn armor, had the best jousting stuff, the best weapons. No, he did it the wrong goddamn direction, okay?
Okay,
here's one more thing on that particular thing. Okay, what an absolute fucking tragedy of Knight's Tale, except for one thing, and it pisses me off that they actually researched it and did it right, was the heraldry and the use of heraldry during the tournaments on the document that shows the fighters, all the heraldry on the town and posted on the buildings and everything, going, you got that fucking right, but you can't get an outfit? You can't cover her hair?
I actually love to do a
At this point,
like
give her a goddamn unfortunate biggins and I will be happy. No, you gotta do that shit.
She actually had an unfortunate biggins in that movie, and when it came up, I was just like, "Oh no,
I missed it."
Oh, it's a whole
You
thing.
want one better?
I gotta cover it on my other blog.
Their longsword tournament is extremely period, but the SCA goes,
Yes.
no, we don't. Counted blows, not a thing. Bullshit. Why do you think they have plate armor? Hello, McFly.
Okay, well,
it's called a lance. Hello.
we need to do a special episode all about A Knight's Tale, I think. Maybe I'll record it as a podcast and I'll put it out on my other blog that I'm a part of, Frogflix. We can do a whole like crossover thing. It'll be fun.
we can totally do a total rant on this. And so with that total rant, and dropped so one we totally made the show R-rated. Like I believe we fit our warning label completely within the show. I am really proud of us tonight. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the show up. Do either of you have any closing remarks?
Go ahead.
Oh, me? No, you first. You're the guest. Close it.
You know what? I, over the past few weeks, have been inspired. Okay, let me point out, this is going to be kind of train of thought because I'm drunk. So, I've been inspired by individuals who have taken the high road in a lot of cases, but have also they're fighting the good fight in the sense of they are wanting to do more than just post a meme or post lip service or just repeat somebody else's post regarding issues. They're researching, they're donating, they're marching, they're they're having discussions. And that to me has been inspiring because I am able to understand better my world and my environment, and it's inspiring me to do more beyond that as well. So I am all out there. Cheers, thumbs up for those who are fighting the good fight that way and are not being sucked into stupid arguments and all that. Meh. They're doing right by their friends. They're doing right by their world. They're doing right by themselves. So, was that legible? Okay.
That was legible. My wrap-up thought is just be excellent to each other, people. Also, Bill and Ted's whatever the heck this third movie is just came out, and so that's probably what I'm going to be watching tonight. So be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. That's my parting thought.
And my wrap-up thought is I'm actually going to echo Ghislaine and to say keep fighting the good fight and do it as adults as possible. Invite conversation, have discussion, continue to grow and stretch and reach in the society because that's the only way we get to get back together and still have this super cool thing that we do. And with that, this episode, we all talked beforehand and we decided we are not doing any show plugs. This time we are actually speaking to the tragedies that have happened recently in California and saying thank you very, very much to the first responders, to the firefighters. We are hoping that everybody within the STA and outside of the STA returns to their homes quickly. And those that have lost, may they find an easy way to recover. This devastation lasts for a long time. We did this in the last couple of years in the society. Be kind to those going through this. Be kind for those mundane and in the society. And remember, it isn't just a momentary handhold of thanking them. This is months of recovery when somebody loses a house and everything else like that. But I want to say thank you very much to the firefighters that made our losses minimal compared to what they could have been. They give every day to make sure that we can be on shows like this and we can be safe in our homes. And so thank you very, very much. Remember to thank your local first responder and your firefighters and help those in need. And with that, we're going to wrap up the show. I'm going to remind you to smash that like button and say, tell us that you like it. Comment later on a show. Come join us on the Between Two Peers Discord. That link is posted in the Between Two Peers Facebook page. So you can like, follow, and share. Come give us content ideas. Come talk to us about what you want to see on future shows. How can we improve this for you? Also, just come hang out during the weekend with us, or during the week with us. We sit there and chat on that thing all the time. So thank you so much for continuing to follow us, to continuing to tune into the shows, and then introducing your friends to this nutty thing where we discuss anything from like hardcore FCA subjects of dealing with people that are a little egotistical all the way to don't blow smokers. So with that, the next episode, episode 21, where the show gets old enough to drink, is going to be with Sassy Seamstress's boyfriend, Duke Thorfinn.
You said it, not me.
I'll drink for it. So, with that, thank you so much, everybody. Good night, and have a wonderful weekend.
Good night, everybody.